park in the middle of the beach. You return to your location a quarter mile south of center and get the 25% of customers to the south of you. Teddy still gets all of the customers north of Teddy territory, but now you split the 25% of people in between the two cars. Day 3 of the ice cream wars, you get to the beach early and set up right in the center of Teddy territory, assuming you'll serve the 75% of beachgoers to your south, leaving your cousin to sell to the 25% of customers to the north. When Teddy arrives, he sets up just south of you, stealing all of the southerly customers and leaving you with a small group of people to the north. Not to be outdone, you move 10 paces south of Teddy to regain your customers. When you take a midday break, Teddy shuffles 10 paces south of you and again steals back all the customers to the far end of the beach. Throughout the course of the day, both of you continue to periodically move south towards the bulk of the ice cream buyers until both of you eventually end up at the center of the beach, back to back, each serving 50% of the ice cream hungry beachgoers. At this point, you and your competitive cousin have reached what game theorists call a Nash equilibrium, the point where neither of you can improve your position by deviating from your current strategy. Your original strategy, where you were each a quarter mile from the middle of the beach, didn't last because it wasn't a Nash equilibrium. Either of you could move your car towards the other to sell more ice cream. With both of you now in the center of the beach, you can't reposition your car closer to your furthest customers without making your current customers worse off. However, you no longer have a socially optimal solution, since customers at either end of the beach have to walk further than necessary to get a sweet treat. Think about all the fast food chains, clothing boutiques, or mobile phone kiosks at the mall. Customers may be better served by distributing services throughout a community, but this leaves businesses vulnerable to aggressive competition. In the real world, customers come from more than one direction, and businesses are free to compete with marketing strategies by differentiating their product line and with price cuts. But at the heart of their strategy, companies like to keep their competition as close as possible.
Okay. So you saw one explanation for why companies right next door, because you're competing spatially. There's another reason they didn't mention. McDonald's is the biggest restaurant in the world. So it's the biggest restaurant chain there is. It's got in China, all over the world. They have very sophisticated ways of figuring out where they're going to open their next store. They go in, they pay local people, they say do statistics, find out where there's high density in population and low food service areas, and they pay people to research it, and then they say, okay, here's the best place. They put their store there. Now, if you're a little store chain, like Burger King, who doesn't have near the resources McDonald's does, how are you going to know where a good place to open yours is? Yeah, if they just paid all these millions of dollars to get good research, just open your store next to theirs. There's going to be a lot of people. So there's lots of different reasons why they'll open up next door to each other. One takeaway from this that I want you to keep in mind, mathematics. Some of you think if you're going to study math, Eric, head up. If you're going to study math, you're going to be stuck in a classroom board setting or in a professorship doing that. Mathematics is used in business, and they will hire mathematicians to study this sort of stuff. And Nash equilibrium, economics, all that stuff uses mathematics. So your field of study, if you're going to be a mathematician, is a lot wider than you would normally think. All right. Any last thoughts on Thinking Thursday before we go back? Okay. Back to your packet. Here's what's going to be expected of you in the next 25 minutes. Normally, I grade your work when I walk around the room, and I grade it for completion. Have you been working hard, or you have work shown, and if you've been working and you've been asking questions, you've been showing work, you get a good grade. Today, I'm going to do an accuracy grade. So you will get a grade for getting them right and wrong. Two things. One, we're on the 4th unit. If you are still in this mode, where you're sitting at a table, and you're the dumb one, every table has one dumb one, right? You're sitting at the table, and then you're the one who always just looks at the smart person's paper and circles the letter they put. If you do that, how does that help you for the test? It doesn't. So let today be the day where right now, as you're able to talk to your neighbors, instead of just looking at their paper, you elbow and say, hey, can you explain this question to me? Let today be the day. It is an accuracy grade. So you need to be getting these right. Every question on this packet is like your test tomorrow. It's like your test. If you can't do it today, you can't do it tomorrow. You have 25 minutes. Get to work. You need to finish this packet. Here's the timer showing you how much time is left.
What is this? 25 minutes to read. I'm just starting it for anything.
So you can only maybe it's as you have questions, raise your hands. You may talk with your neighbor. You must ask. In 25 minutes, you will be typing your answers in on Skyward, and it will give you your grade. So you need to get your answers within 25 minutes.
Cinco years, te lo bajas. No, ahí
Wear the same outfit someone.
Who wants to know the order you get that you needed in to get this to look like white teeth. You gotta do something. You like to join
Or I'll get like listeners. Sometimes I'll grab It's -3. Bro, us.
Sería. Yo creo que es
That was minus, right? Because you're moving it to this. That moves this.
Yo creo que es 500
Yeah, minus 3.
más 33.7.
It's gonna be -3 is gonna stay -3. Because it's -3. You're not adding or anything to this. You're just adding this to the problem. So -1.
This in the back. What number are we supposed to do?
All of them.
I'm going to summer school. If I go to summer school, I swear everything I'm gonna drop out.
First.
Obviously, man.
Wow. Bro, you know what I learned? Everything is Mardi Gras is centralized. You never knew that? Oh, Print bench animal shelter use 43.7 pounds of dog food per day. This is a donation of 500 pounds of food. Information that can be used to buy a pound of food. Next day, information will be
Getting fatter as we speak.
That friend does that to you. Now I just went down.
Now that Daniel's
So it's white 6.
Oh, for the 5-1.
Oh yeah, we are. You're not No.
Oh, wait, no.
It can't be negative.
It's not me.
Right? That's the only one.
Oh, no, yeah, it's not me.
That has to be eight.
¿Es bueno? X, nomás así lo ves, le pones menos. That's what you
What you get? So it's gonna be plus. So we say y equals. Right now it's like 1 minus 2.
Y ya después lo que
Whatever's in front of the Get focused.
Para
So we're running the exact same way, so we're trying to come slowly. So we already know it's going to be better. But if that point did work, it also have to try to set 1 point. So put that point on the graph. Yes, ma'am. Okay, you found the slope, which is the first part. Now comes the hard part. This is the hard question on the test. That's the first part. Now, we have two options. You got an X and a Y. You're going to take 4 for your X, 4 for your X, and so which one should be Y, 4 for the Y, and so it's true. If it's true, then you can try your second point and see if it's true. If you don't want to do that by hand, you can type it in. 22 equals 4 equals. You can just have a test with the formulas. Look at Mr. I'm going to take your attention just real quick. This is just a brief pause. I need to make 2 corrections on the worksheet. Shh. Everybody go to number 7 and 8. This is just a quick correction. Change g of x to 8 sevenths instead of 3 sevenths. What? Just do what's on the board. Okay. Change this to an 8 instead of a 3. The last change, that's on number 7 and 8. The last change is number 14. I want you to change it to what it looks like here. B should be -1, and C should also be -1 in the parentheses. All right, once you've made those changes, you can go back to wherever you were. That will be the answer to your question.
That's why it makes no sense.
That's good. You go up and down. Yes, is that right? If it said which one is what, and go through this.
Stare toward that.
Yes. Parallel to the x-axis. Yeah, that was probably the hardest one on the test. You found the slope, right? Which is good. Here's one mistake, maybe. If you type this in on the calculator, yes, it will be that because this is really, it's not 20, what is it, 28? So you found the slope, which is 14/3, 14/3, that's good. So you scratched out C and D. So now it's those two. Here's the part that you're missing. That's our X. This is not our X. What is this? Y. Right? And that's our X. So this is good for you. This is X1 and this is Y1. So all we're going to do for our X is take a 4, put a 4 there. Take a 22, put a 22 there. And then we see if that's true. You can just type this in the calculator, 22 equals, blah, blah, and type it just like you see it, and hit enter. If it's true, good, false, fine. It's got to have both points to work for it. If both points work, Daniel, you're being loud. Eric,
Y
take a
después
seat.
necesitas poner
Eric, you're losing points.
oh, de verdad está bien.
No.
Me acuerdo de
I can't believe it, Andrew comes to this one. Andrew. Who I was with. You know him, so no one was wearing all black. Yeah, I would be talking because you started. You said I was cute, so I would be talking. Shut your face, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Nah, cause remember when you used to sit here and I used to sit? I used to fuck
I don't remember.
You see, now you're changing the subject. What? No, whenever you said I was cute. And you calling me ugly?
I don't know you. Cheesy.
What's happening to your dog?
Say what you say?
Alright. And then she was like, I'm not your lady.
Like that? She said I was like, damn, that's what so you just like, I would just probably fuck around. I'm doing it with another girl. She thinks like I really have to. You know, come on, she has a big ass crush.
Perpendicular means flipped.
I think I'm gonna do it.
As you can tell by the timer, you're down to 4 minutes.
Don't say nothing, but it's meaning. Alright? Because I sort of got.
Some of you have not been focused.
Piss off. Wait, what?
Lo único que necesitas son estos dos. Los demás son cocina.
That's the two things we need. Slope. How do we find slope? This is the formula one, man, but we have to know what n is. What find slope? 1, 2, 1. Daniel, get focused. Now let's label our points. This is our first point. So this is our first one. Next one. This one under this. Next one. And then right. This is our first point. We'll go points. Next one. And then our second point is going to be what? Next two. Daniel, I'm gonna take points off again. You're down to 50. We need to get focused. So you can type this is that one. You get that later.
Damn, that's tough.
Did you type it in? All right, here's what you're going to do now. We have 40 minutes left of class, and now we're done with the paper part. Now we're going to the laptop part. Let me explain what's happening. First, you are going to open up your laptops and log into Skyward. Do that silently while I explain the next direction. Once you log into Skyward, Cyrus, you're losing points. No talking. Once you log into Skyward and type your answers, you will then go to IXL and work on the online component of class. The way, if you have forgotten how to get to IXL, is to go to my website, which is written on the board, read CF, and then you will go to Unit 4 and start any lesson in Unit 4 that you have not done already. All right, go ahead and finish logging into Skyward first. We have to type our answers in to Skyward. If you don't know how to get to Skyward, Google Spring Branch ISD Skyward, SBISD Skyward. Once you get in, once you get into Skyward, the assignment is in that middle section of your page where all your updates are. It says Algebra, and then you can click Take Assessment. You're going to type your answers in. As per usual, if you do not have your laptop, you have a 0, and now I'm going to send you out of class. Yeah, it is tough, real tough. So everybody without your laptop, you're going down to the office to explain to them that you...
Oh, because I lost it.
Oh, you're the doofus that left it in my room. It's right there. You left it in my room 2 days ago.
Oh, you talking to me? Oh, bro, I went to the office, bro. I got scared.
Hey, do you have on your keychain a tool to fix desks? Actually, do have
Alright, now that we've all had a laugh at Cyrus, let's get focused real quick. Look, if you get this when you log into Skyward, it's a pop-up box that says you have been blocked with the pop-up. You need to click up in the very top part where it has a little red X on a screen, and then you click, yes, always allow pop-ups from Skyward. So if you get a pop-up from Skyward, you need to click allow. All right. One more time. In the middle of your Skyward screen, there will be a button that says Take Assessment under the algebra word. You need to get your answers typed within the next 5 minutes.
I'm on the phone over there and I'll switch you for a thing. So you have a 0 on this side? You need to hit it.
Go to the office.
Okay, do you see yours? Where it says take assignment, so it says algebra and take assignment. So you're gonna go back to your home. Okay. There's algebra, take assignment.
Alright, you're now down to 4 minutes to type your answers. Many of you see it like 5 answers per page, then you hit next, then you go to the next page, you are going to Skyward, not the website. Where's Skyward?
I don't get it.
La 360. La 4 es 20. ¿Te acuerdas que esa no teníamos acá?
Get your answers typed in, and then you need to be into IXL within 3.5 minutes for your online part of class.
La 6. ¿Dónde está la 6?
You're typing in the answers except for the back page that says homework at the top of it, because that is clearly homework. Eric, take a seat.
What is the distance of three days?
La 2. La 4
Yes, sir.
When you finish, you will hit complete and submit. Save and complete assignment. Did you already submit it? You could look in under grade book for algebra, and it will tell you what your grade was on the assignment. If it were me, I would pick one of the answers. Yes, once you finish submitting your answers, you go to IXL, which you need to be in 2 minutes. But you don't go straight to IXL. Go to my website first, readcf.wixsite.com.
Go to Unit 4.
Yes, any lesson in Unit 4. Well, did it, what is it? Yes, retry. Yeah, retry.
Where did the day after they class?
How do I take the assignment?
Does it tell me my grade? Does it tell me my grade?
All right. At this point, if you have a question about how to do anything, you can raise your hand and ask me, but we're now going to go into silence. If you need scratch paper for IXL, you can get it from the bookshelves over there. But at this point, if you talk, you are losing points on your online portion of class. You may raise your hand and ask me, but you may not talk to your neighbors on this one. If you need scratch paper, by the bookshelf. All right, online portion of class. Daniel, losing points. Yes, sir. Emilio, losing points. Not talking for the online portion. Make sure you have logged into IXL in order to receive credits. You are going to any lesson in Unit 4. Any lesson in Unit 4. All right, you are down to 30 minutes. Going to explain something to you I haven't explained to you before. I don't always display this, but I'm going to put it on the board for today. I see live what you're doing. Eric, head up. Live what you're doing. Your SMART score is down here on the bottom next to your name. Your grade will come from your SMART score. So every time you get one right, the SMART score moves up. Every time you miss one, it goes back down. I've told you you can get to what number and then be done with the lesson. You can get to 70 and then be done with the lesson. But if you're like, well, I'd rather have an 80 or a 90, you can keep going. But remember, every time you get one right, it goes up. Every time you get one wrong, it goes down. So if you've spent 40 minutes on one lesson to try and get it to 90, and you don't get to the other lessons, you have zeros for the other lessons. So you need to get it to where you're like, okay, I just keep missing these. 80 is good enough. I'm moving on. You have 30 minutes right now. You should be doing one lesson every 10 minutes. So how many lessons should you get through today?
3.
3 lessons. You have 30 minutes. So right now today, you need to get through 3 lessons online. Get your SMART score to where you like it. Then go back to my webpage, pick a different lesson, and start getting that SMART score up. Anything under Unit 4. Anything under Unit 4. All right. If you need scratch paper, pick it up. Continue working.
Wait, what are you writing down? If you didn't finish it, you just click save. Click there.
As you can tell, several of you are doing well. Those of you that missed the same question over and over again, you need to be asking me. Like your SMART score keeps diving, raise your hand. Ask me.
How do I get
Alright. As I said before, you are silently working on this. If you have a question, you can come and see me. Other than that, you are quiet. Andy, losing points. Get your earbuds in. I'll think you're listening to this. Daniel's losing points. It's like you think when my mouth moves, my ears stop. You've lost your mind. Not that old yet. working well on their SMART scores. Bookmark it up in the URL. There's a star in the top right. Alexander's losing points, unfortunately. Man, several of you, for something that should be a really easy, good grade, several of you are getting down and down. Ruben.
I have to figure out because it's parallel, right? So what's true about the slope? About both of those, if they're parallel.
No, I gotta find the other. I have to find what's parallel to this.
So it's telling you.
I know.
Okay.
I was just thinking of it how I should work because it gets confusing on this. Well, we're just being the same way. We're just being the same.
I see what you're saying, yeah. What did they have a correct answer for it?
Yeah, it shows at the bottom. Alright, now I'm doing what that is. Perpendicular. -2.
Alright. A line that has these points and the slope of 0. So this is almost like that one on number 4 on the packet with the stick. So first let's graph put point on the paper.
What's going over here?
Almost started.
I'm starting it. So what have y'all been doing with this since you started for this unit? What have y'all been doing with this unit? What's your overall? What have y'all been doing? You're not sure? Figuring out slope?
Huh?
Figuring out slope intercept?
Yeah. What's like that?
Man, get started. Get started.
That's slope intercept. Look at your formula chart. Which one can you write from a point on this foot?
Y.
So what have y'all been doing with this? How long y'all been doing this?
Like 2 weeks now?
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 3. I don't know, 2, I think.
And what's been
Okay, we
your
are
main
down
purpose
to
for?
15 minutes. You need to get 3 lessons passed. I will allow you to talk quietly to your neighbor. If you keep missing one, you may talk, but do not get off task. You need to get 3 lessons passed. 3. You may talk to your
Get
neighbor.
us used to using the computer more.
So like, what's the big thing about like the slope intercept and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like just the slope intercept and relating. like X's and Y's and slope.
How's it relate?
Yeah, like what's the whole purpose of like just figuring out like these equations that you've been using, the y equals mx plus b, slope intercept form.
Find how I think just to find how high or and how.
So maybe part of it is like just showing that you have relationships between two different things. That's really the thing that takes place is relationship. Saying like this equals that. If that equals that, how do they relate? What's the relationship between them? It has a big function. Okay.
I'm saying it's kind of the same thing. It's like you're always gonna put the slope and the accuracy.
Continue work.